This book is very, very well timed. I tell you, if our brothers in the West and in the North, the political practitioners, if they grab a copy of this book and read it, the political temperature of the country will cool down. We shall do the right thing. They will do the right thing. On behalf of myself and my family, we are going to book for 3,000 of these books. At 25 million naira.
25 million.
And this, because we believe this book will make a difference. This book, we shall make sure it goes to each of the senators of Federal Republic. We will also make sure these books will go to each member of the House of Rep. And we'll also make sure it is distributed to 36 state House of Assembly members and the Abuja Legislative Council. Thank you, His Excellency, for giving me that moment. Thank you, sir. His Excellency's book, presented by my humble self, with his permission. His Excellency, I appreciate it.
Karigo, Uzodima, Karigo, Uzodima, Karigo, Omoyoko, Karigo, Omoyoko, Karigo, His Excellency, Karigo, His Excellency, Chigi Marama, 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 Chiku Zodima, Chaya Marama, Yoku Zodima, Chigi Marama, Omoyoko, Chigi Marama, Your Excellency, Chigi Marama, Governor Nimo, Chigi Marama, Honorable Bonono, Chigi Marama, Chigi Marama, Chigi Marama, la 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 la, yeah. Chineke kibe, ina potaram, mbe moya no na sobu, hagane yege kele, ekele amake one yegi, otutu amake one yegi, abundi sokana bu, iti kosina ibuji, bana meye Chineke. Toke ni megro kwagi sinige buru yibu isiniga bunke nyone ono nirugi toke ni megi ewo ono giyugi toke ni megi akwagi sinige buru yibu isiniga bunke nyone ono nirugi Toke, Akamarama Kainda Koro, Ozodema, Akamarama, Ogadena Pupa Kainda Koro, Akamarama, Akamarama,
Our people find it very difficult to read, but you have virtually read the book for all of us. When we get home today, whether we read it or not, we know what is in the book. I thank you for that. Now, the Igbo question. The book is a reflection of the Igbo question, not a reflection of Nigerian question. not a reflection of West African question or African question. And I believe reflections, Hope Uzodimma's reflection on Nigerian question is going to be the part 2 of this book. What is the Igbo question? When you get home, you have to reflect on it. The Igbo question is a simple human being called Jeff. Jeff is the simple definition of the Igbo question. Justice, equity, and fair play. Jeff. That is what the Igbo question is all about. Simple and short. Ndi Igbo say, in a polygamous home, men wa eke emere ibe ya, obi wee dị ya mma, ka ntamu wee laa. In pidgin English, do me as you do my fellow woman, so that I no go vex. But Hope Uzodimma has told us today that even if they block you on one road, you must escape through the other. And that escape is called private sector strategy. Presidency is not everything. Those who have been having presidency in the last 35 years, what have they done with it? We must continue to march forward, whether we get presidency or no presidency. That is where I stand. You will recall that in 16th century, 17th century, up to 18th century, the Igbo land had no beggar. Can't see any beggar in Igbo land from 16th century to 18th century, up to early part of 19th century. The Igbo land had no prostitutes. The Igbo land has no single prison where people can go to prison, because law and order has been the bedrock of Igbo land. I thank everyone who is here present. I congratulate you once again, my governor. I want to tell everybody here, this is my short speech. May God bless everybody here. Day one.
This book is like an agenda for Igbo program. There is nothing that is not there. Gentlemen, there is nothing that is not there. Igbo, kwenu! Kwenu! Akwakwu na eziokwu. Ndị Igbo si na afọ awụdị onye ụjọ, o jiri nwegere buru ụzọ. Ihe niile ndị Igbo chọrọ ha ga-enwetali ya. Ihe wụ problem na anyị wụ how method enyegbuola anyị na nsogbu. Approach ajọgbuola onwe ya. Ihe nna-achọ ikwu bụ na ogodu presidency ahụ ndị Igbo ga-enwetali ya. Presidency for Igbo is from this hall going on. The Igbo presidency is politically defensible. It's politically what? And is morally justifiable. Are you following? Politically defensible and morally justifiable. It is an idea whose time has what? Let us find the method to get it.
Yeah.
We thank our wonderful governor. You know, one of the things about the governor, Chief Hope Uzodimma, which many people do not know, and many people, even they see it, they get surprised, is that he knows it has a sense of time. He has what? I want him now from where they may. I want him now for here. Only said they are not there. There were dramatic and drastic changes in Imo. Today, we have Ashnafu Eko na-egbu ụmụaka. Afọ ekwuo na-egbu ngịnị ụmụaka. Afọ ekwughị na-egbu okirim. And ama okirime. Kedu ihe ndị Igbo na-akpọ okirime? Onye gbara isi agha agbago m isi agha. Asị na onye gbara isi agha na onye gara ije adịghị wise. Ndị Igbo adị m wise a little bit. Agaala m ije gbaa isi agha. Igbo kwenu! Adị m wise. Nna akọrọ unu. Anyị ga-eji nwayọọ. Ejele ka gịnị? Kedu ka ejele recha adị egwu? Ire ọma. Nwayọọ nwayọọ. Nwayọọ nwayọọ. Ndị Igbo na-egote ihe ha chọrọ. So, the idea of violence is not Igbo character. Combativeness is Igbo character. Igbo prefers making friends than enemies. Is it not true? That's why they're everywhere. So, Ndi Igbo kwenu?
Yeah. Your Excellencies, the Governor of Imo State and his deputy, the Right Honorable Speaker, Kennedy Ibe. I would like to congratulate the governor, especially for his taking the right step. It's important for any person who has held a public office to find time and give an account of his stewardship. We expect that as time rolls by, that the governor will find time, maybe 6 years, 7 years, 10 years from now, and give a full account of his stewardship. That will encourage others to do the same for historical purpose and for posterity. I have a piece of advice for those who like to criticize. It is important that you read the book first before you run your commentaries. The book reviewer has told us quite a lot. It's a collection of speeches. His address, the governor made several cogent public addresses. And I will recommend almost every Igbo person who cares for Igbo question to find time to reflect as the governor has reflected in the collection of his speeches. I believe the easiest thing people have no problem doing, it doesn't require intelligence to criticize, but before you do that, see what he has said. I listened to the book reviewer. This is a real, well-researched collection of speeches. Well-researched. Because all Nigerians who care to know the plight of Igbos should find time and browse through the books. I haven't read it myself, but from the book reviewer, it has a lot to offer Nigeria to know where the Igbos stand in Nigerian equation. He did a good work, thought-provoking issues he raised. It's not as simple as saying we are marginalized. How far are you marginalized? In what area? He touched on that issue. The issue of Igbo presidency or presidency of Igbo extraction, he dealt with it. So I will not go much into the book because I have not read it, but I am very impressed that he found time to put together his speeches. We expect more from him. He has many more good years ahead. By the time he concludes, then we get the full dossier. This one is a teaser, I believe, because he's still on the stage.
I've listened to all the wonderful things you have said about my book and myself. I do not need a mind reader to know that all those kind words and salutary acknowledgements came from deep down your heart. I want to thank you very much indeed. Over the years, leaders worth their salt have, through literary discourses, contributed to the shaping of the societies they had the privilege to lead. For such leaders who think beyond their generation, Leadership offers an opportunity to clinically appraise firsthand the challenges of their environment. They are consequently motivated thereafter to proffer suggestions on how the immediate challenges can be surmounted. The robust democracies we enjoy today in the more developed countries of the world were shaped partly by the thoughts of great leaders in those countries. In the United States, leaders such as Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, John Kennedy, and lately Barack Obama readily come to mind. We also have such leaders as Clement Attlee, Winston Churchill, and Tony Blair to reckon with in the United Kingdom. All of them have something in common. Their thoughts helped to deepen the robust democracy which their countries enjoy today. In Nigeria, our late sage, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmad Bello, and Obafemi Awolowo, they stand tall as leaders whose thoughts helped to shape the original federal project that gave birth to an independent Federal Republic of Nigeria. As Frank Fanon would put it, each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission and try to fulfill it or betray it. In this respect, my well-considered view is that the challenge of our generation of Nigerians is to reinvent a model of democracy that will offer each federating unit a holistic sense of belonging, seasoned by equality, justice, and the rule of law. This task is urgent because it seems obvious that the original federal project conceived by our forefathers and secured by them has become weak and should therefore be strengthened to be efficient and functional. For Ndị Igbo, the challenge of our generation is to insist on our inalienable birthright as citizens of Nigeria who must coexist with other ethnic nationalities as equal partners. A united, strong, and prosperous Nigeria. This is the rationale for my book that has just been presented to you. It is my own modest contribution on how the Igbos can overcome the existential challenges facing them today in Project Nigeria. This accounts for the sense of fulfillment and joy that I derive from the presentation of this historic book today, titled Reflections on the Igbo Question. The book essentially puts together my thoughts on the Igbo question as expressed at different fora over a period spanning over 8 years. This explains the title, Reflection on the Igbo Question. I consider its publication to be part of my responsibility to not just Ndị Igbo, but Nigerians in general. One thing stands very clear: the consistency of my views on the subject matter, which were expressed before I became the governor of Imo State. These views can be aptly summarized in two themes: Igbos have not had a fair deal from Project Nigeria since the end of the Civil War. They have continued to cry to high heavens over the sordid dilemma they face in their own country. I believe we have cried enough, and it is time to wipe our tears. The second is that Igbos are citizens of Nigeria by birth. They should never allow themselves to be cajoled out of their father's land and their inheritance. This is our country, and we must stay here and collectively enforce our rights as bona fide citizens of Nigeria. This brings me to what I consider the cross of the challenge of Ndigbo in Nigeria. It is the urgent need for our self-rediscovery as a people, as the resilient, tenacious, and the enterprising people that God, in His wisdom, made us to be. It appears to me that we are gradually losing the true identity of the Igbos. The Igbos we are the Igbos that are resilient, with resilient Igbo spirit that help us to survive the harsh socio-economic environment we were faced with right after the Civil War. It was that spirit that made the Igbos record many firsts in many fields of human endeavor in the pre- and immediate post-independence era, which is captured in the book I have just presented. It was the same spirit that propelled the young Igbo men who came to Lagos in the 70s to rise from being hawkers and Obioma tellers to become captains of commerce and industry, and to establish much sought after fashion outfits. We must rediscover that spirit, including the one that inspired us to produce Ogbunigwe and built many modular refineries during the Civil War. These are the spirits we are known for, which also led to excellence. Not the spirit of timidity, not the spirit of self-defeat, nor the spirit of violence and crave for easy money, which appears to have possessed our young Igbo men of this generation. As I alluded to earlier, a leader must stand firmly for something, be it ideology or belief, which must define the essence of the trajectory of his private and public life. This is more so when the generation of such leadership is faced with challenges that need to be addressed to avert disaster. I think this is the reality of the Nigerian situation today, particularly as it affects Igbos. It appears to me that my people, for no fault of theirs, are currently at a crossroad. This is therefore not the time for me, as a leader, to stand with my hands akimbo and watch a helpless generational drift that could land us into an abyss of endless sorrow. Rationalization and justification are strong weapons of defense, but only insofar as the action taken is for the good of the majority. This book, Reflections on the Igbo Question, is not only for the good of the majority of Ndigbo and Nigeria, but my modest effort to galvanize the Igbos to rethink and reflect not just on the current challenges, but on the right compass to navigate out of it. For those in the delicate art of medicine, you know that the accurate diagnosis of any ailment is a necessary step towards a cure. In our situation, we've been bemoaning the marginalization of Ndi Igbo in the Nigerian project. That to me is trite. What is cogent is to address a rational and realistic way out of it. That is the essence of this book and our gathering here today. I have been unambiguous in my diagnosis of the Igbo question. In spite of the state of affairs since 1966, the 1966 counter-coup, we are still better off staying in Nigeria. Some may not agree with me, but anyone who takes his time to go through the book will be persuaded to think along that line. I have painstakingly explained the way forward in this book. We need to reclaim our rightful place in Nigeria by building on the comparative advantage we have over other Nigerians. We have to leverage on the special talents bestowed on us by God to ensure that we are accorded our dues in Nigeria. One of the talents is technology. The other is commerce and trade. Currently, the evidence is here that it was helpful to us in the past. And the evidence is also here that it can still help us today. Truth be told, we are dominating in commerce and trade in Nigeria. But we can do far better than that as a people if we put our thinking caps on. In the real estate business, in all the major cities of Nigeria, the Igbos are leading. Most standard business outfits in any remote part of Nigeria is likely owned and operated by an Igbo man or woman. The second most populous ethnic group in any city in Nigeria outside the indigenes of that city are Igbos. How then do we harness these huge potentials to our advantage? The answer is simple. Read this book called Reflections on the Igbo Question. From available statistics, Igbo students across the globe and even in Nigeria are making waves with their technological innovations. The individual accomplishments can only make meaningful impact if they are collectively harnessed and channeled toward a massive production hub to set the stage for technological leap Nigeria has been looking for. Igbos can lead the way and dictate the pace. We also have a huge landmass to conquer, dominate, and exploit. We have boundless markets to tap into. We have unassailable ingenuity and opportunities presented to us to explore so that we can emerge as leaders again in this land of Nigeria, that we are all also equal owners. What I have simply set out in this book is for our youth to appreciate the opportunities before them and embrace such instead of bemoaning marginalization of Ndi Igbo and resorting to violence, which is self-defeat. They should come up with pragmatic ways of conquering their fear. Because I've just discovered that most of our young men and women are currently living in fear. I don't want our youth to think that somebody is holding them or holding their destiny down. I also don't want them to continue to be frustrated by the deliberate policies of exclusion. Instead, I want them to be focused on the larger picture of liberation. through technology, through trade, through commerce, through which we can dominate Nigeria and dictate the pace of development. Indeed, when the Jews found themselves in a similar situation such as the Igbos of Nigeria today, the Jews simply used their talent to force the world to accede to their legitimate demand through technology and media. The Jews now call the shots in major countries of the world, including the United States of America. That is the challenge before my people, the Igbos. We already have a country. The name of the country is Nigeria. We don't need another country. We should rise and take our rightful place in Nigeria. And we can do this by unleashing our God-given talents, by working in concert, and by being focused on the future, which I believe holds a lot of promise for us. That, in a nutshell, is the essence of the book, Reflections on the Igbo Question. I'm very, very positive that you will all find the book informative, inspiring, and reassuring. And this book is capable of regulating the political temperature in the Southeast, of making our youth to become less restive, and making our eyes to be open wide, and discovering what our forefathers left behind for us. The Igbo heritage, the Igbo identity, the Igbo enterprise spirit, the Igbo intellect. In fact, in my own words, Igbos first and others follow. May God bless all of us.
Nigeria amaka, ezigbo obodo ọma. Amaka, anyị nwere obodo ọzọ. Bịapụtanụ n'igwe ka anyị soro ụzọ dị mma. Mmezi obodo ọma, anyị nwere obodo ọzọ. Nigeria amaka, ezigbo obodo ọma. Nigeria amaka, anyị nwere obodo ọzọ. Unto the owner.
Thanks for checking out Symphony on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.